Hello and welcome back everyone to a new episode of Loremaster Leveling here with our Goblin Rogue Tafrona. My name is Sneaky Bard and we are about to finish our sojourn here in Ashenvale. Not because we are anywhere close to done with the quests, but we're almost level 24 and this zone, if we look at it, only runs until 25 and we already managed to talk quite a bit about the lore of this zone anyway, due to what we did in Ajara and stuff like that. So I think once we're done here, we will actually be taking a brief trip to Stranglethorn Vale, at least to Northern Stranglethorn Vale, and level to 30. Why is that? Well, I don't really like the Stone Talon Mountains. I do like the questline of it for the Alliance, but for the Horde, there's just something about us being the big baddies in that questline that just doesn't chime well with me, and I've done it too often as well, so I prefer to skip it, and then we can probably get back and do something like Desolus or what have you. But yeah, after this zone, probably after this episode, we will actually just go to Northern Stranglethorn. But hey, let's get on with it. So we have one quest. We need to have Gorka accompanied to the Morshan Ramparts. So let's talk with her. I'm ready, Gorka, to Kadrak. Okay, and off you go. Anyway, by the time you guys get this, you can probably see the date up there in the corner, but by the time this will actually be shown on YouTube. What are we waiting for? Oh, the torrent. No, not the torrent. The Kodo. Yeah. By the time you guys get this, it's already Blizzcon time, or Blizzcon has just finished. I was just thinking about talking to you for these couple episodes simply about what are your hopes for Blizzcon and what I hope to see from Blizzcon. So yeah, if you have any hopes or vehemently disagree or agree with what I think should be part of BlizzCon. Did she just die? Okay, no. Then yeah, put that down in the comments. But personally, for me, BlizzCon has always mainly been about WoW. There were a couple of BlizzCons where I was super excited about something like Diablo or StarCraft. But mainly BlizzCon is about WoW or Warcraft for me. So in terms of WoW, what I'd like to hear at BlizzCon, apart from say a new expansion, which I think is likely, oh, there she died, is my favorite pet peeve of all times, and now people will probably either cheer wildly or just put a lot of hate comments down below, unsubscribe, dislike the video, whatever. I'd like to see
Blood and thunder.
not nostalgic servers, but you know, servers like Nostalgia, so your progression type server, your vanilla server, that sort of stuff. Okay, we got here a couple of abilities. Why would I like to see those? So I mean, the reasons for those are wide and varied and have been discussed a lot, but I do think it's time for Blizzard to actually offer these types of vanilla servers, BC servers, not only because it's become industry standard, but because I think for a lot of people, as great as WoW is now, we need to realize that the game has changed quite dramatically from the time that some of us started playing, and some of us actually prefer, crazy as we are, prefer the type of gameplay that was back when we started playing, because that you can clearly see it in the pacing, for instance, of the game that is completely different. We talked a bit about how RP elements have been taken out of the game and stuff like that, and it's, in my opinion, fair enough to say, okay, you're not that type of player that cares about it, but there is a player base that does, and it's not anything, like I said, revolutionary for MMOs to have these types of legacy servers, classic servers, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, for I don't know the how manyth year in the row, I'd like to see Blizzard announce that they're finally going to do these legacy servers. because I think it would be awesome. I mean, based on my own experience from the time and when vanilla was around and on said servers that I will not name, I did prefer my time back then slightly bit more than I do now. The drawback obviously is that if you're going to play on one of those legacy servers, because there's so many time sinks in there, you'll probably not be playing any other game except WoW. But then some of us do enjoy that, so adding legacy servers wouldn't take away anything from anyone else. Maybe slightly development time, but is that development time use for anything useful? We don't know. It would probably even just unite the community a bit more, give everyone a chance to enjoy WoW the way they want to enjoy it, and everyone just rejoice that we all like WoW in different ways. Anyway, we have a new quest here with Torek, who has some raiders here next to him. No, we don't want to join White Aggro. Anyway, Torek's assault. Hey, rogue, come here. So military of him. Just exclamation marks, short, snappy sentences. My raiders and I are about to attack the Silverwing outpost to the west. Our target is the leader, Duriel Moonfire. Scouts report the outpost is defended heavily with sentinels and warriors. The battle will be glorious. Do you want to share in the glory, Tafrona, and aid us? If so, then when it's over, you can report a success to my superior Airtuck, Rage Tusk, and Splinter Tree. What do you say? Are you with us? Well, of course we are with you, even though you're giving us a sword. Alright. So, there we go.
For the Horde!
For the Horde, indeed. One of these war missions. But yeah, I'd like to see legacy servers announced, especially since the stuff that happened with Nostalgius, where Blizzard was actually trying to, at least on the outside, do something, have a conversation with the people and figure out how they could learn from what they had done over at Nostalgius.
I need to target something first.
That might be just me being overly optimistical and not giving Blizzard enough cynical credit, but hey, I want to believe in the guys. Another thing, WoW-wise, that I'd like to see from BlizzCon is obviously new expansion. I think it's time for a new expansion, and I hope no one has to go through these expansion lulls that we had in Kata, Lich King, Draenor, and Pandaria even, I think. I don't remember. Pandaria had a expansion lull, but not... Since I didn't play much back then, I don't remember it being as bad as the aforementioned. Like, as good as these expansion lulls are for people like me who feel that they haven't managed to do quite everything they wanted in an expansion, it's still, like, horribly mind-numbing to go through them. So I think WoW should, for the players that are actually playing the game, you know, raiding and doing all that stuff, they should get their expansion announced. And for the setting of the expansion, I'd actually want to take WoW out of space and back into home territory. Kind of what I imagined that Cataclysm would be. So let's go back into the old zones and start doing them in the old world. And work with some of the loose ends that we have established now in Legion, say with the Void Lords and with the Old Gods. I mean, I'd like more of an Old God Naga themed expansion, really, even though I'm not a big fan of underwater levels. I'd like Old Gods and Nagas more than Void Lords, just because I never really got into the Void Lord story. They're cool and all, but not my preferred antagonist, especially because the Old Gods always have had this mystery surrounding them. Like, who are they, what are they, how do they control people, how many of them are there? I mean, we have a fair idea of how many of them there are, but there's at least one, N'Zoth, I think, who's more of a mystery than anyone else. Plus, Naga are one of my favorite parts of the lore anyway, because the whole High Elven, Night Elven, Blood Elven tragedy is something that that really turned my heartstrings. Okay, let's go to Splinter Tree Post now and return both of these quests that we have. So yeah, for WoW would be Legacy servers, new expansion, hopefully centered on old gods, Naga, getting us back to like old core Warcraft territory. Maybe something similar to the Broken Isles, where we have a zone where the expansion takes place, but I'm not sure. Like, if we had another bit of landmass into the sea, it's going to get very, very populated soon. Oh, we are once again going the wrong way. So yeah, I'd rather see expansions of existing zones in that expansion, like make new zones like you did in Kata, but also maybe expand some of the older leveling zones, just to show that, I mean, I don't think Blizzard cares much about leveling, but I'm a really big fan of the leveling content, as you can see, and I'm in favor of like vertical expansion. So basically saying that yeah, we do stuff for the high level content as well, because that's what most people play, but let's add these gems into other parts of the game, like say the leveling bit, or an old zone which normally is only for like level 20s. Let's add an area there that is max level. All these horribly old school things where you add elite areas and things like that, just to make people travel a bit and have this sense of fear and wonder. Can we actually get through here? Oh, no, we cannot. We will die. I thought we could just walk through here to get our quest done, but apparently not. Yeah, I was busy talking. We did, however, get an achievement, which is, did we get a PvP kill? No, we just entered a battleground area, that was it. Without actually entering a battleground. We're such a rogue. But yeah, that's the sort of development time that I think Blizzard at the moment can actually spare to give WoW, because WoW has been quite bloated with content. The whole reason why, for instance, we had to prune abilities and stuff like that was, for instance, because of it. So I think adding some of this more horizontal, did I call it vertical before? Horizontal type of expanding would be nice, just because it could make the game less stratified, where it's basically like you rush to max level and then you do your max level stuff, and instead you'd have something like, well, you can rush to max level, but then there's all these other things that you don't see in the zones, so you might have to backtrack at a later level and see that these zones are actually still useful for you, and they're not just these I almost call them like theme park rides, where you're like, I'm doing this, like been there done that, or like rooms in houses that you just rush through, like at a museum, where you're just like, you want to get out as soon as possible, and you quickly just look around like, oh, nice painting, cool historical person, now next room, what can I find here? Like, make them more used, because these are enormous resources that Blizzard has in the game in the form of these zones, and I'd personally like them to be used more. Okay, we got our sword here. In terms of other Blizzard games, I mean, I played Overwatch a bit. It's not really my thing, because I'm not that good at the whole FPS stuff, but I mean, would be nice to see them add a new map, a couple of heroes, and something fun. Like Lucio Ball was super fun, adding these types of events in there. But yeah, I'm not really into Overwatch, so it's very hard for me to say what I'd like to be done in Overwatch. Hearthstone, at least for me, is still going strong. There are a couple of expansions ahead of where I am, but yeah, just more cards, more fun tavern brawl things. What else? I mean, yeah, just keep Hearthstone going as it's going. Diablo, in terms of Diablo, yeah, I haven't done the whole Necromancer expansion thingy in Diablo, but I do return to it from time to time just to play with my Lightning Mage a bit. So what could Diablo need? I mean, I haven't really played it on that level where I think I could say, Diablo, really, the community needs X, Y, and Z because of ABC. But they got a new class with the Necromancer. I can't really say a new class, but I guess something that, like the seasons, I really like them, but maybe making them a bit longer. Just like I like Hearthstone seasons to be a bit longer, and then add some really big challenges at the end of it there. I mean, I do like the way they're bringing out new legendaries every now and so often. Where are we supposed to be bringing the... Oh, we're supposed to break the siege. So that's good. How are we supposed to break the siege? Speak to Kadrak. Accompany him to Splinter 3 post. Okay. Alright.
Loktar,
Wait.
go forth to victory.
I'll come back to the topic that we just talked about. I'm just confused about this quest. At Morshan Ramparts. Okay. Didn't we do that? Okay. Apparently we didn't do that, but he's still here, so we better get back to Morshan Ramparts. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, I've been a fan of how in Diablo Blizzard has managed to do these completely game-changing legendaries. That was really fun. It made me experiment a bit more with my build within the constraints that I've set for it, of course, that I wanted to be melee lightning damage and stuff like that, but it was super fun, and some of those legendaries actually made that build much more workable than it used to be, so that was good indeed. For StarCraft, I mean, wasn't Legacy of the Void supposedly the last StarCraft expansion? What would be fun, if that is the case, ouch, there's a Night Elf, would be to actually have Blizzard announce something like, okay, now we're doing Warcraft 4. Because there is that, ouch, we are almost dead. Oh, just under attack, but yeah. There is that, like, I don't know how many people did it, but somehow I have it in my head that it was one person or something, like 3 people did a Warcraft 4 basically using the, was it the game engine of StarCraft 2? They basically made a mod that was Warcraft 4, and I'd really love Blizzard to do Warcraft 4. Not sure where they could set it in the timeline, because of WoW obviously, but they might be able to go further into the past maybe, or just do a, this is what happened in the Caverns of Time, and do a like parallel universe type thing. I mean, they've already done it in WoW. It wouldn't be the best thing though, because I generally just do not really like the whole
Strength and honor.
parallel universe stuff. It just confuses people, and it's bad storytelling. I mean, that's one of the reasons I didn't like Warlords of Draenor that much, because it just, like, you needed to retcon so many things, and it just didn't become what people wanted it to become, which was, like, you know, the old Draenor that we all loved and cherished. No, it needed to be old Draenor with Garrosh shoehorned all the way across it, and Iron Horde and whatever. So that wasn't quite, at least, what I wanted out of something like Warlords. But and yeah, that might be the problem that you end up having with something like Warcraft 4 set in a parallel universe. But I'm sure they can figure something out. I mean, you could also, because WoW is, shocker, at the end of its development phase, or closer to it than it now than previously, I'd say. You could start thinking about, okay, what's the story going to be after? Or maybe a Warcraft 4 set in, this is what happened to Tyrallion and Aurelia, because like those were the characters we had in Warcraft, but then we haven't seen them before now. Before Legion, they haven't been entered into Warcraft lore. They've been just gone. And they told us a bit now in Legion, obviously, what they've been up to. But that story could be told in more detail in something like Warcraft 4. And I'd really love to explore that.
What do you
Because
need?
I love both of the characters. Alright, now let's read some quest text, because I have been neglecting that. So, to the rescue. Gorka's death was not in vain, Tafrona. Splinter Tree would have certainly fallen if we hadn't come when we did. Now we must get to work shoring up her defenses. This isn't over. So, get a ring with stamina. 3 stamina and 3 crit. So let's get that. And equip it. Blood of the Weak. We knew the elves wouldn't go down without a fight, but no one expected them to be able to lay siege to Splinter Tree. Time for them to pay for their actions. Nearby, in Dordanil Barrow, lies something very dear to the enemy, the Forest Heart. Need someone to make their way to the heart and corrupt it. That someone is you, Tafrona. Oh, that doesn't sound like something we would like to do. But yeah, we are a rogue. We really don't care about people's holy objects. First, though, bring my axe to Durak here in the mines. He'll make use of the blood of our enemies. Okay. Apparently a blood ritual. That will have to wait, though, for the next episode. So yeah, once again, if you did like this episode, do give me a like. If you like the channel, do give me a subscribe. If you had any opinions regarding my little expose there on what I want out of BlizzCon, or like my wish list, basically, because let's put it out there. It is a wish list. I don't think that Blizzard is actually going to come out with any of these things, but I really wish they would, just because of the type of gamer that I am. So yeah, if you have a personal wish list for BlizzCon, or things you might think that Blizzard will announce, or things they definitely shouldn't announce, if you wildly disagree or agree with me, or are just meh, just put that down in the comments there and let's have a discussion about it. But yeah, as always, my name's been Sneaky Bard, and you have been absolutely awesome. I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye bye.